Hello and welcome to my channel. I had planned on putting all of these in one video, but and I thought, well, maybe it'll take two or three, but I got like quite a few of them in one video. Anyway, it's a list of 1,000 questions for a false memory. Call it what you will. I think I heard it called the Mandela Effect, which I really like the name of. The Toto Effect. Some people call it, say, because we're in a virtual reality or like a paradigm shift, which is a new way of thinking. Anyway, there's different reasonings, but so I found this on Psychologist World and I wanted to include it. False memories have been investigated by psychologists as nearly as Freud, but have attracted significant attention in recent decades. Our recollection of past events can affect not only our future decisions and opinions, but also more significant outcomes, such as court verdicts, when influenced by inaccurate eyewitness testimonies. Anyway, thought I'd have to throw that in. All right, so here we go. Don't want to ramble too much. Got a long list. 556. Did Louis Anderson die? 557. Lucky's grocery store or Lucky? Apple brand. Macintosh or Macintosh? You know, when I heard of Macintosh, I don't even remember hearing of Apple brand until later. But, I mean, wasn't it called the Mac for short for the Macintosh with the MAC on it? Anyway, what do you remember? Macy's, and I'm influencing, I'm not supposed to do that. Macy's, or just Macy's, or was it Macy's department store? How do you remember it? Was Madonna born with that name, or was her stage name and her real name a really long name? Major Tom, planet Earth is blank, and there's nothing I can do. What goes in the blank? Did the Marlboro Man smoke? How did the Marlboro Man die? Malcolm Young's death. How did he die? When did he die? Mama Celeste Pizza or just Celeste Pizza? Mama and the Papas, California Dreamin' lyrics. I began to pray, or I pretend to pray. I'm going to put that in there already. The man from Tord came from where? Just threw that in there. The man and the iron mask made of black velvet, or was the iron mask made out of iron? Man's warehouse or men's warehouse? Mandela Effect or Mandela Effect. How do you spell it? Do you remember how to spell it? Okay. Maradona did keepy uppies wear? I have no idea. Marilyn Monroe was born Norma Jean or Norma Jean. Was she born with the last name Baker or Mortensen? What do you remember? Marilyn Monroe, she had a mole on her face. Where was the mole? Did Marilyn Monroe sing Santa Baby? Do you remember her singing Santa Baby? Put it down if you do or you don't. What size was Marilyn Monroe? Was she a 12? Or was she very petite? Did she weigh like 117 or 18 pounds? Or was she a little bit thicker? Did Marie Antoinette say, let them eat cake? Marie Callender's or Marie Callender's with an A or with an E? Comma, Maria Celeste or Mary Celeste Ghost Ship. Mario Kart or Mario Kart with a C. Mario Kart 64 for Nintendo 64 Rainbow Road. Where were the rails on? Were there rails on the sides of the roads? Were there? I don't know. In Super Mario Brothers Nintendo, what does the toad say? The princess is in another castle, or your princess is in another castle, or our princess is in another castle. Marriott with one tier 2. Mars, is it too hot to live on, or is it too cold to live on? The red planet, right? What were you taught in school? That one really gets me too. Okay, Mars, was there a smiley face on Mars? Yeah, I don't remember no smiley face, but Marshall or Marshall Brave Star. How do you spell it? 1L2. Marshmallow with an A or marshmallow with an E. McDonald's, M-A-C or M-C. Could you see the McDonald's golden arches for miles because they were so tall? Do you remember seeing the word McDonald's under the arches, or was it just on the McDonald's restaurant? MASH, did radar die? Matrix. Did Morpheus say, what if I told you? Does Morpheus look different now? I mean, what about his glasses? Did they have those side things, or did they just sit on his eyes like that? Maxwell cassette tapes or Maxell? What do you remember? Meatloaf, one word or two. For the singer, did Meatloaf die? Mellow Yellow. How do you spell it? Is the word yellow actually spelled yellow, or is it just Yello? Men Without Hats song. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind, or we can dance if you want to. We can leave your friends behind. Merry Melodies with a Y or an IE. Metallica with one L or two L's. Did Michelangelo's painting of the Sistine Chapel have God's hand reach down to Adam, or did they not reach? Were there people behind God? Were there babies like cherubims and cherubs in the painting without wings? Did other hands reach out and touch as well? Do you remember this? If you do, please leave a note. And I think I put that in there twice, and I'm going to leave it in there twice because I think it's important. Did Michelangelo paint God's naked bottom on the Sistine Chapel? Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. People always told me be careful, and then does it say mama or mother? Michael Jackson, you've been struck by, or hit by a smooth criminal. Michael Jackson, the way you make me feel, you really turn me good or on. Michael Jackson, did he die and come back? How many times did he die that you remember? When did he die? Did Mickey Mouse have suspenders? Did Mickey Mouse have a tail? Did Mighty Mouse have an M on his chest? Is it Mike and Ike's, or Mike and Ike's, or Mike and Ike? Mike Tyson bit off that other guy's ear. Xander Holyfield, is that his name? Did it seem like it happened and then it didn't happen and then it happened again? Like 1 minute you knew it happened and then all of a sudden you look forward and it's like it never happened, and all of a sudden, whoop, there it is, like it happened. Anyway, what do you remember? Do you remember it happening or not happening? Do you ever remember it hearing that it did happen? Anyway, milk does the body good or a body good. Did Al Capone or the FDA put the first expiration dates on milk, or do you know? Do cars read, or did they read? Objects in a mirror may appear closer than they are, or objects in mirror are closer than they appear, or objects in mirror may be closer than they appear. Earliest missiles that blew up in the air, made by who? Mr. Clean. Is he smiling or not smiling? Do you remember what he looks like? Does he have big white fluffy eyebrows or barely visible eyebrows? Does he have one loopy earring, or in one ear and no earring? Is he wearing tennis shoes or boots? Is he wearing tight clothes with his short sleeves poofed up and then shrunk small at the ends of the short sleeves? And is his shirt with an outline of his chest, or is he wearing a slightly loose shirt? Mr. Rogers zipping up his sweater. What? Did Mr. Rogers have buttons, or did he zip up a sweater? Mr. Rogers, how did you spell it? R-O-D or R-O-G? Mr. Rogers, did he sing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, or It's a Beautiful Day in This Neighborhood? Or did he sing It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor, won't you be my neighbor? I don't know. That's what I remember it being like. So that's what I put. And you won't probably find that anywhere else because that's the way I remember it. Mr. Olympia, Franco, Columbia, or Colombo. How did you spell his last name, with an O or a U? Ooh, that's in there before. Called Mr. Whipple, or did they just say Whipple? And the Don't Squeeze the Charmin commercial in 1970. Look it up. Did they say Mr. Whipple, or did they just say Whipple? Mrs. Cakehag, cover yourself in blank. What does it she say? Mrs. Robinson, the song. Does it say Mrs. Robinson, are you trying to seduce me? Or Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me, aren't you? Is there a rock band called Megadeth? And if there is, how do you spell it? Is it D-E-T-H or D-E-A-T-H? Mochiata or Mochiata or Macchiato? How do you spell it? Which one is it? Mommy Dearest, M-O-M-M-Y or I-E? Did Mommy Dearest ever say no more wire coat hangers? Money. Was Eisenhower ever on the dime? Was there an Indian on the dime? Buffalo head or buffalo nickel? Buffalo head nickel or buffalo nickel? Is the buffalo nickel and the Indian head nickel the same coin, or is it two different coins? Is Mona Lisa's identity a mystery, or was it a portrait of Madame Lisa, however you pronounce the last name? Did Mona Lisa have a smile or a very, very slight grin? Was Mona Lisa stolen for 2.5 years? Did you ever hear anything about that? Was Mongolia a country? Did Mongolia only exist during the day of Genghis Khan? Do monkeys, apes, and gorillas look different in the face? Are some bright colored like they are wearing masks from scary movies we saw as a child of cannibals where they made the masks? Okay, Monopoly Man's name. Is it Mr. Moneybags or Rich Uncle Pennybags? Did Mr. Monopoly, Rich Uncle Pennybags, have a monocle? And what year did you notice this change for you? Monty Python, did he die? Moon. Was there a pattern of a sort of Popeye face in the moon? Did you notice a face in the moon? Ever hear about a face in the moon? Was life found on the moon? Is there a pyramid on the moon? On Mars, is there a pyramid? How many times did we land on the moon? Is the moon rusting? Is the moon rusting? Is it even possible for the moon to rust? Yeah, leave a note. Leave notes in the comment. Make a note of that. Look it up. Morocco, how do you spell it? Morton salt or Morton salt? Moses' face radiant with bright light from being with God, or after he sees God, he has horns. Mother Teresa, how do you spell Teresa? Was Mother Teresa made a saint? If she was, when was she made a saint? Did Muhammad Ali die in the 90s, early 2000 or 2016? And how do you spell his name? Do narwhals exist? Neighborhood, is it spelled B-O-U-R or B-O-R? Nelson Mandela death. Was that 1966 or 1972? Or was it 1980s? Was he killed by Saddam or did he die in 2013? Nelson Mandela had a nuclear particle named after him, did he? Was Nelson Mandela one of those who planned starting a war by running into crowds and stabbing people and running away and using weapons before he went to prison? Did Bush say in 2007 that Nelson Mandela is dead because Saddam Hussein killed all the Mandelas? Did Peter, Paul, and Mary release a song in 1967 called The Great Mandela with lyrics in the song referring to Nelson Mandela dying of a hunger strike? Did Nelson Mandela go on a hunger strike in 1966? I don't know if you remember it, but you may want to look it up. So, did Simple Minds release a song about Mandela being released like he had already been released before he was released? Are our necks wider and stronger and look less like E.T.'s neck now? Do they used to be skinnier? Let's say quick. How do you spell quick? C-K or K? New York. I have a lot of New York. We're at 664. New York Twin Towers. Was there a hotel in between them? How many World Trade Centers were there? 247. Statue of Liberty. Was it on Staten Island, Ellis Island, or Liberty Island? Is the Statue of Liberty closer to New Jersey shore than it is New York shore closer to New York? Is the Statue of Liberty sitting on stairs on a hill or on a building? When you visit and you go up, can you go up into the head of the torch? Or is the torch closed in the 80s to repair for damage from a 1916 explosion? Have you ever been up into the torch when you went to visit it? 9/11. What year did that happen? How many WT World Trade Centers and buildings were hit on 9/11? How many collapsed? Did anything happen to the Pentagon? Was there a huge storm headed on 9/11 right for New York that turned very sharply away? After 9/11, on 11/12, did an airplane crash in Queens, New York, and 265 people died? Do you remember anything about that? In New Zealand above Australia to below. Oh, is New Zealand above Australia or below it? Okay. Niagara Falls. How do you spell Niagara? Or is it spelled this way? Nicolas Cage. Does he have an H in his name? I was very sad about that 265 people. I think I knew somebody that was married to somebody that was on the flight. Nikola Tesla, how did he die? How old was he when he died? Nightmare on Elm Street, was her door red or blue? Nikolai, did I just see that? Or Nikola Tesla? What color did ninjas wear? Black or did they wear blue? Oh. On 9/11, was there a war going on that day? Or was the war going on before that day with Afghanistan? Or did the war just start that day? What do you remember? I know you hear a lot about it lately, maybe. If you haven't heard anything lately, tell me what you remember. Noah's Ark. Noah took 2 of every animal or 7 of some of the animals. Do you remember? Where is Nokia from? Japan or Finland? Nordstrom Nordstrom, how do you spell it? So you'd have to actually read the Bible to know that. You see pictures of two animals, but I don't know. Did you ever read it? Is the North Pole land or ice cap, or is it just water like the Arctic Ocean? What is at the North Pole? Is there land at the North Pole? Where is the North Pole? Where's the South Pole? Where is Antarctica? Nostradamus, do you spell his name with a U or an A? Was there a Nostradamus movie in the theater in 1979? Was there a Nostradamus prediction that said, and the two sisters shall fall? That was in the movie, late 1970, around 1979, or on TV, and spoke of two cities when they said the two sisters shall fall, and possibly meant the Twin Towers. But now they say the twin brothers. Now or laters, or now or later candy. How do you spell Noxzema? Does it have a Z in it? Does it have Noxze? Or no? Was the number of the beast ever 616? Did Obama catch a fly in an interview? Was Osama bin Laden born in Saudi Arabia? Osama bin Laden died how? How many major oceans are there? Oh, well, I'm not supposed to have answers there. Oh, Henry, or Oh, Henry, had the candy bar. How do you spell it? Oh, Sheila, was that sung by Prince or Ready for the World? Does Oliver Twist say, please, sir, may I have some more? Olsen twins, do they spell their name with an O or an E? Oh, the 100,000 gram bar. Or is it the 1,000 gram bar, or 100 gram bar, or 100,000 gram bar, or $100,000 bar? Or 100 grand. Has it changed its name over the years? Do you ever remember it being the $100,000 bar and then changing its name? Curious. Opus, and leave comments about this one because this is one of my favorite candy bars. Opus lyrics. Life is life or live is life. Was there a 1942 bombing in Oregon? O'Reilly's Auto Parts or O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oreo double stuff. How do you spell the stuff? Oscar Mayer. M-A or M-E. Does the ostrich bury its head in the sand? Does it bury its head when it's scared? Does it bury its head in the sand at all? How do you spell Ouija in Ouija board? Does it start with an O or a Q? Does it end in A or IA? Outcast song lyrics. Never meant to make your daughter cry. Apologize 1,000 times or 100 times or a trillion times. What does it say? Did Over My Head music video have a cable car? How do you spell OxyClean? Y or I? Does the Pacific Ocean now cover the entire globe on one side? Paddington Bear, color of the clothes. Panama Canal runs east or west. If you know, put it. If you don't, skip it. Parmesan. How do you spell it? Or is it Parmesana? Patrick Swayze. Did he die of cancer or did he beat the cancer at some point? Paul Martin exposed. Is that who did that? Did Paul Revere ever ride out announcing and yelling the British are coming? Did that ever happen? Did he even have a horse? How do you spell Procter & Procter & Gamble? Payless Shoes, or Payless Shoe Store, or Payless Shoe Source. How is it spelled? How many different ways do you remember it? Peace symbol, is that up or down at the top? Pentecost, how do you spell it? Pentecostal, how do you spell it? A or an E in the center? Pennzoil, 1 N or 2. Pepsi, the word Pepsi on the Pepsi logo looks funny, and all the logos look upside down or something. Was the blue lighter even and the design smaller? Was it all capitals and all little letters, or did it just say Pepsi, just like that? Pepsi Clear or Clear Crystal Pepsi? Pepsi logo, blue or red on the top? Okay, Pete Rozelle, how do you spell his last name? S or Z? Does Peter cut off the ear of the Roman soldier or temple slave when Jesus is arrested? Phil Collins in the air tonight. Does he say, hold on, or oh Lord? Do you remember what he said? Did it stand out? Phillips. Wow. I have that wrong, don't I? Is it spelled with 1 L or 2? Picnic at Hanging Rock. Was there a creepy scene of a teacher walking strangely down a hill? That was cut out. Pier 1. How do you spell Pier 1? Imports. Did Pikachu from Pokemon have a black on his tail? A Pillsbury Doughboy scarf. Was it a red scarf, a blue scarf, or a white scarf? Was a new live-action Pinocchio movie released in 2020? How do you spell Pinterest? Pirate talk. Did it come from the way pirates talk, or was it invented by Disney? Pittsburgh, and with an H or no H. Pixie Sticks, wire IE. Planet, Mysterious Super Earth 55. Have you ever heard of that? Planners, Mr. Peanut now has a monocle. Did he have a monocle before? Or did he dance around look more like a candy peanut? Anyway, I'm skipping that one. So I think I left part of it out. When was the Black Death? Was the Black Death or the plague in the 1960s, the 1300s? Oh, they contained it, like they stopped. They stopped the Black Plague. When did they stop the Black Plague? Was it in the 1960s, 1300s, or 1800s? Was there a PlayStation game called Demolition Derby or Destruction Derby? Were first generation Pokemon games dual types, or could you just make them stronger? Pokemon, what type of attack was strong against psychic types? Was it psychic types or bug types? Popeye and olive oil. How do you just spell olive oil? Did she spell her name? O-I-L or O-Y-L? How did she spell it? Popeye's enemy, was it Brutus or Bluto? Or do you remember both? What do you remember? Powerpuff Girls, could you see Mojo's brain? Prince song, we are going to celebrate this thing called life or get through this thing called life. Procter and Gamble. How did you spell Procter? Which direction does the prohibition sign go? Right to left or left to right? Prohibited sign, sorry. Okay, Puss color, is it rosy or green? Great Pyramid of Giza now has 8 sides instead of 4. Did you see that it had 4 sides or 8 sides? What do you remember? We both thought there were 3 sides, and then we both second guessed ourselves and said 4 at 2 different times. Like I did it, and then my husband did it at different times when I asked him. Okay, and has had them since 1940. The 8 sides or 4 sides or 3 sides, or before we were born. It looks more like a fold-up paper fortune teller game now. What do you remember? Pyramid, was it built of giant stones that lined up perfectly and seemed impossible to move, and they were trying to figure it out? Or is it like it looks, or was it built out of these smaller stones, like the size that looks like bricks in pictures that are smaller and not even quite even on there? Pyramids, were they in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, or right next to the Nile River, or one or two sides, like water was being used from the Nile for the pyramids? Or was the Nile near, or was it far away in the distance? Were pyramids far away from people and seemed almost like the land for miles and miles was protected to use for searches, or was it okay for cities and people to live right there? Were there ever any mummies found in any pyramids? Did they have an airport right there near the pyramids? Does the Great Pyramid look like it's been moved or shrunk? The Sphinx, is it a cat or a dog or a tiger or a lion? How do you spell Sphinx? Is it with a Y or an H? Okay, was there a door under the front center of the Sphinx? Was there a wall behind it ever? Do you see a wall behind it? Do you remember a wall? Sphinx toes, were there 3 toes? Or 4 toes or 5 toes? Was there like a Sphinx of space for a key or something you could push in or something? How long was the Sphinx's legs? Did it look less like a cat or more like a dog or more like a person than it does now? Maybe it reminded you of those things that they mentioned in the Bible. New smaller Sphinx found in 2018. Is that such a thing? Did that happen? The body of a lion and the head of a human wearing a snake crown and a headdress. Have you heard of that? Are the pyramids of Giza, are they much closer to Cairo instead of in the middle of the desert? Are the pyramids missing capstones? Do the stones look much smaller than they did before? Were there 3 pyramids together, or were there 6 or 10 or 11? Where did the 3 little ones come from? The heights of the 3 pyramids in comparison with each other. Were they the same? Were they different sizes? Do you remember the way they looked? Did they look the same as they did? How far apart were the 3 pyramids? And where were they in comparison to each other? Did they move? How many pyramids do you know of total that are everywhere? Try to think of them, write it down, look it up. The Bent Pyramid. Have you ever seen the Bent Pyramid? Where did that come from? Oh, the Memphis Pyramid, initially known as the Great American Pyramid. I just threw this in here, formerly referred to as the Pyramid Arena, and locally referred to as the Pyramid, the Tomb of Doom, and the best Pro Shops Pyramid was originally built. Okay, it's Arena in the state of Tennessee at the banks of Mississippi. The facility was built in 1991. I just threw that in there. Is a Quaker Oats man old and looks kind of like KFC man, or young and looks kind of like Einstein? Queenstone ends. Does it end with "We are the champions" or "We are the champions of the world"? And when did that change for you? If you think of when you remember it happening, write down the year. Queen pulled the trigger, now he's dead, or pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Queen's Guard's hats, they all black, or do they have colors in them? Queen's Guard under chin thing is on face, or was it under their chin? And the gold and the gun, do they look different to you? Did their guns have a clip? Did they have a knife on the end? Do they have guns that are unloaded? To the Queen's Guard, did they have to stand perfectly still, or could they move and knock people down? Did Queen Victoria do cocaine in her chewing gum? How do you spell raccoon? 1 C or 2? Rachel Ray. How do you spell Rachel? Raggedy Ann and Andy. Did they have freckles or blush on their cheeks? Rainbow. Was there a moonbow, snowbow, mistbow, sunbow, fogbow? How long have they existed, and do they exist now? Is there a rainbow tree with rainbow colored bark? Did Raisin Bran's son have sunglasses? Ramesses II. Is that an Egyptian god? Did Rasputin survive several attempts on his life, or was he just shot and died? Can't say this word. Was there a scene involving someone shooting a gun? Razzle dazzle ships. Did they back in the day have these ships painted with all these different colors for the war, or were they just like gray? Have you ever seen these ships painted with all these different colors? So that they could hide better on the ocean and nobody would see them and they would blend in better. Ready Whip. How do you spell ready? How do you spell whip in Ready Whip? Reba McEntire. How does she spell McIntyre? How do you remember it being spelled? Has it changed? City of Angels or City of Angel? In a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What is it? Refrigerator. Does it have a D or not? Reindeer names. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph, Donder and Blitzen. How do you spell it? Is it Donder spelled with a D or Donner spelled with 2 N's? Blitzen spelled with an S or a Z? Or was there a Dunder and a Blixen? Or Dunder and Blixum? Anyway, what do you remember? Have you read them both? Heard them both in a movie? What do you remember seeing? When did that change for you? If you remember the year, put it down. I didn't want to. The song Sweet Dreams by Rhythmic said sweet dreams are made of these or sweet dreams are made of this. Maybe I'll put it down for the next ones when I break it down. The rib cage, is it smaller and higher than people remember? Did you think we had 4 or 5 ribs, but now there's 4.5 single ribs and 4 attached ribs with 2 bones attached? And how many ribs do you have? Do you have a rib in front of or above, or how's it look? And does it look different than you remember? Okay. Can humans regrow broken or missing ribs? Whoops. Rice Krispies, C or K? Is it Rice Krispie or Rice Krispies? Richard Simmons with 1 M or 2. Was he wearing wristbands or no? Did he have a headband on or no? Was his clothes, did he have red striped clothes or were they turquoise? Rick Flag, how do you spell flag from the Suicide Squad? Ring Pop Candy or Ring Pops? What is the longest river in the United States? Is it the Mississippi River, the Michigan River, the Missouri River? Robert De Niro, is it two words in his name or 3? Rock'em Sock'em Robots commercial. Does the loser say, "You knocked my block off," or does he say, "Ah, my block is knocked off"? Yeah. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. It always feels like somebody's watching me and I got no privacy or they have no privacy. Rod Sterling or Sterling from the Twilight Zone. The Roman numeral 4. Was it IV? Like 6 is VI and 9 is IX? Or was it just 1, 2, 3, 4? I think 9 is IX. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's VIII. Roman numerals on the watch and the clock hands. Are they angled from the center of the clock out to where the dot is? Some facing one way on clocks and some facing the other way. Or are they all facing top to bottom? Which way do you remember them being facing? Was Rome a country when Jesus died, or was Rome in Italy when Jesus died? Did Romeo and Juliet have a balcony scene, or did it just never exist? Ron the Anchorman. Well, that escalated quickly, or boy, that escalated quickly. What do you say? Blade Runner. Tears in the Rain, or just Tears in Rain? What did he say? Roy Orbison. How do you say his name? Is it Orbison or Orbison? And is he blind? How do you spell Rubik's Cube? Does it have an X or KS? The Rum Diaries, or Rum Diary with IE, or Rum Diary with a Y. Sagittarius. How do you spell it? 1G, 1T, 2Gs, 1T, 1G, 2Ts. Did the St. Bernard rescue dog carry a brandy barrel around its neck? Salem witch trials. Were they burned at the stake, hung, or drowned? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Sally's Beauty Supply, or Sally Beauty Supply. Sally Fields or Sally Field. Sally Field said, "You like me, you really like me," or "You like me right now, you like me." Which one was it? Samson's hair was cut off by Delilah or a servant. When Samson knocks down pillars and crashes the building, was Delilah even in it? How do you spell San Bernardino? I think I might have screwed that up. Oh, is it Bernardino or Bernardino? How do you spell it? Santa Barbara. Is it Barbara or Barbara? Sarah Lee. Does it have an H or no? Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, or nobody does it like Sarah Lee. Savannah for Savannah, Georgia. Two N's or one. Sauerkraut. Did that come from Germany, China, or Magnolia? Scary movie. Does he say I see white people or I see dead people? I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Anyway, Scary Movie 2. Does the butler say take my strong hand or take my hand? School days. End of August till first week in May was school before, or was it September till May, or early August to June? When did you go to school? I'm interested to know if that changed. If you go to look it up, did it ever say that's what it was, or if other people remember the same? Did Shaggy have an Adam's apple? Did Daphne ever wear white boots, other than as a child? Scotch guard. Does it have a UGU in it or not? Would they spell it without a U? Really? Scotch porridge or porridge oats? What's the name of that? And how do you spell it? Is it Scott's porridge oats, or which way do you spell porridge? Seal lyrics. I've been kissed by a rose on the grave, or gray. Do seals exist that are white with black painted blotches all over it, like little blotches, like somebody painted little blotches, or even white seals with a few black white lines on it here and there? How do you spell Sean Locke's last name, with an E or without it? How many senses are there? 5 or 6 or 7 or 21? 7-Up, does it have a dash on it, or was it spelled out, or just 7-Up like that? Sex in the City or Sex and the City? What do you remember? I remember it changing when the movie came out, and I have actually 2 memories of going to the movie, which is really odd, in 2 totally different states. So I don't know, I'm confused there. But it was always Sex in the City till the movie came out. Shannon Doherty, how does she spell Shannon? Rainbow sherbet. Remember rainbow sherbet? And then you go to a fancy gourmet restaurant, and it was called raspberry sorbet. It wasn't called sherbet. Now it's orange sherbet, not sherbet or sorbet. It's kind of, I'm sure it's still pronounced sherbet, but I don't know. I'm confused. Sherwin-Williams, did it have a dash? Oh, and check out the Sherwin-Williams logo. Have you ever seen that logo? Do you remember that logo? I don't know. Sherlock Holmes, did he ever say elementary, my dear Watson? Or did he just say exactly, my dear Watson? And did he say elementary, my dear Potson? Yeah, look that up. Okay, Shiva, the Hindu god. You may not know what that looks like without looking, but how many arms did she have? And I'll cover it later. If you don't know, skip it. Did Hannibal Lecter say hello, Clarice, in Silence of the Lambs? Is it called Silence of the Lambs or The Silence of the Lambs? Did Simon and Garfunkel do a live concert in the 90s? Did Sinbad ever make a movie where he played a genie? Singing in the Rain, with a G or without it? The $6 Million Man, was he an astronaut or was he in the Air Force? Skechers, with a T or without it? You know he could fly, but maybe, was he? My husband remembers it one way, I remember another way. Does a human skull have 6 holes in the front of it, 2 in the chin, 2 in the cheeks, and 2 above the eyebrows? Are the eye sockets on a human skull hollow? Or if you're looking at the skull with no eyes, can you see back into the skull if you point a flashlight into the eye sockets, or are there bones right behind the eyes in the eye sockets? Right there. Did the skull have holes in the jaws? Do female skunks have 1 stripes and males 2? Or so just some of them have 1 stripe and some have 2? And they look different. Did Slash die? Smart House Disney movie, 1999. Oh. Was that a Disney movie or was that made by somebody else? Smithsonian Institute, or is it Smithsonian Institution? And this is what I wrote down when I was thinking when I read that. Smithsonian Institute or Smithsonian Institution. I can't say it, but I put, I'm not crazy institution. You're not crazy institution. I've heard people say that, but I thought it was Smithsonian Institute. And then it said institution. I felt like, I'm not crazy institution. My son used to say that all the time. Smokey the Bear, or just Smokey the Bear. Is Smokey the Bear from the Smoky Mountains? Or is he from someplace else now? And when do you remember it changing from Smokey the Bear to Smokey Bear? Does Smokey the Bear have suspenders? How do you spell Smokey the Bear, and how do you spell Smoky Mountains? Either EY or just Y. Snack attack, or attack a snack for the snack. What's it called? Snails, are they everywhere and you have to kill them with the pouring the salt on them, or are they going extinct and they're nowhere? Snow White, mirror, mirror on the wall, magic mirror on the wall. That one changed for me when that last movie came out, but as far as the other movies in the book, I always thought it was mirror, mirror on the wall before that. Sock'em boppers, or soccer boppers, or sock'em, or soccer with an ER at the end, soccer bop. Like rock'em, sock'em, Does the space shuttle look different to you? Does South America seem like it moved, or was it more in line with North America? Are the creators of South Park, are they from Canada, or are they from America? Soviet Union flag has a star or doesn't have a star on it. Lamb chop. Is it the song that does not end, or the song that doesn't end, or the song that never ends? It just goes on and on, my friend. Which way? Do you remember that? And is it Sonics or Sonic? Some people don't remember the Southern Ocean. Do you remember the Southern Ocean? I don't remember it. Space Odyssey. Does HAL 9000 ever say, "Good morning, Dave"? Or does he not? Spaghetti O's. Is it O apostrophe S or just OS? And were they made by Chef Boyardee or Campbell's? Is it Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs or Campbell SpaghettiOs? Spelled. How do you spell spelled? Is it spelled or spelt like melt? Which one is the right word? Spinal cord. Does it seem different to you? Spider-Man game. With no Spider-Man on the N64 cartridges. Does that seem real? Yeah, I don't think I remember Spider-Man being on them. Do squirrels have fangs? My daughter would say yes. Did the staple sign always have a hook on the L, or did they not? Oh, I remember when that changed. I can tell you the year. It was like 06 or 07, and I was like, oh, where'd that come from? Was it called Starbucks or Starbucks Coffee? And you went to there? Did you see the sign on the thing? It says Starbucks or Starbucks Coffee. Does Starbucks crown have a star in the middle of it? A Star Spangled Banner or Star Spangle Banner with no D on the end. Which way is it? Star Wars, does he say, Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father? Star Wars, who said, may the force be with you? Was it Han Solo or Obi-Wan Kenobi? Is Star Trek spelled correctly? Did Picard hold a crystal in over 70 episodes? Did Kirk ever say, beam me up, Scotty? Is it Dr. Spock or Mr. Spock? The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or Stay Puft, P-U-F-T, Marshmallow Man. Stephen Amell, or Amell, how do you spell it? Did Steve Bartman catch the ball in the 2003 Chicago Cubs game? Stephen Hawking, did he win a Nobel Prize? Did he die and was replaced by a double? Is his name spelled wrong? I spelled the word wrong. I'm going to leave it. Steven Seagal. How do you spell Seagal? The human stomach. Is it under your left rib cage? Where is your stomach? The human stomach. Stonehenge, round or rectangular stones. Storming of the Bastille. How many prisoners were free? Stop sign. Is it all red? Or does it have white edges? Okay, Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. How many people remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing? Was it made by Stouffer's? Or did they never make a stovetop stuffing? Stranglers. Something's got to change or something better change. Which one is it? Sue sells seashells down by the seashore. Or is it Sally sells seashells down by the seashore? Or is it just she sells seashells down by the seashore? Which way do you remember it? Or do you remember it all the ways? Or some of them. Is the sun yellow or white? Sunkist have the letters UN. Are they separate or like one letter in the name on? They put it on a Super Mario Brothers Nintendo game. Did level 1.1 have a piranha plant in it? Ooh. How do you spell surveillance? Suzanne Summers. How do you spell Suzanne's last name? And how do you spell, is her first name okay? Is that what you remember? Swastika. Which direction does it go in? Oh, that one made me crazy too. Sweet dreams are made of these, or sweet dreams are made of this. Sweet Home Alabama. What is that song about or who? Sweethearts. How's it spelled? One T, two T's, two words, dash. Swimmer's ear. Medicine called swimmer's ear or swim ear. Is Switzerland a third world country? Sword in the Stone animated Disney was a sword in the stone or in an anvil on top of a stone. And when did that change for you, or did it change for you? Is Mount Everest the tallest mountain? Tab, when was it discontinued? Years ago or in 2020? That was like yucky. I didn't like it. Tammy Faye Baker, 2Ks or 1. All sorts of blue animals now. Do you remember blue animals, blue insects? Look them up, see if you remember them. Target's ring. Are they different? Was the bullseye? Was the target thing a bullseye? Do you remember when it changed? Did you notice anything when it changed? We noticed a bunch of semis going by. We thought they were FBI or CIA or something, and they had to use different symbols. Anyway, the Great Tartary was a historical region in Asia between the mountains and Pacific Ocean. It was larger than Russia and existent in the Middle Ages. Maybe Torrid, the moon from Torrid. I don't know, but look that up. Have you ever heard of that? Do you remember hearing about that? Did Tarzan say, me Tarzan, you Jane, in the movie? And this one I just threw in there for fun, but... Okay, the temperature, your human body temperature was 98.6. And that didn't go lower. It was always 98.6 was the lowest. Okay, but now it's more like 96.8, or the average temperature is 90.7.7. What do you remember? I shouldn't have said my opinion, but... And when did it change for you? And how do you spell temperament? A or E-N-T? And is it R-A? Or is it just temperament? Anyway, the capital of Tennessee, is it Knoxville or Nashville? This is your brain on drugs. Or this is your brain, this is drugs, this is your brain on drugs. Or this is your brain on drugs, eggs being fried. Anyway, which way did they say it? Oh, this one. I got my granddaughter with this one. Just drove her crazy recently. Okay, was it Thomas the Train or Thomas the Tank Engine? I think I got everybody in our house recently. And when do you remember it changing? Did the tank man get run over by the tank? Do you remember the tank man standing in front of the tank? Telephones, mobile phones, was there such thing as mobile phones in 1922? Or when did they come out? Television, was there a thing in 1953 where you could deposit coins in a slot for special programs in the TV itself? Or is that recent? When did it come out? Terminator, does he say, I'll be back? Or does he say, I'll be back? Terminator 2, Judgment. How do you spell judgment? And Judgment Day. Terrorize y'all's neighborhood or terrorize your neighborhood. Does it say corpses shell, or how do you spell the corpses shell? I don't even know why I put that. I think I left the word out. Anyway. Oh, I see it. S-E-S or S-E apostrophe S. Anyway, is it terrorize y'all's neighborhood or terrorize your neighborhood or which way? Thanksgiving is later in November than before, or is it the same? Was Thanksgiving the third Thursday or was it on the 25th? Me and my husband go around about that. How do you spell 70s in the 70s show? Where does the apostrophe go? Theodore Roosevelt, did he ever box with a kangaroo? Did you ever hear a story about maybe him boxing with a kangaroo, whether he did or didn't? Okay, the theory of Einstein bridge, anomaly of space and time, or part of you acts like a bridge to another brain or dimension. I just threw this in here. You should look this up if you're interested. Bose-Einstein condenser somehow altered the time continuum, dividing space time into two separate parts. It only affected time, wormhole, Einstein-Rosenberg bridge, or a bridge into autumn painting. You should look this up because I think you'll find that really fascinating. Okay, Thomas Jefferson, did he have 6 kids with a slave? This little piggy cried, wee, 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 or this little piggy went, wee, wee, wee. Okay, was there such thing as a wormhole in Einstein-Rosen bridge? Okay, these boots are made for walking, or these boots are made for walking. Movie, they live or they live without an exclamation point. And the walking is different because of the G and the apostrophe. Thomas English muffins or Thomas's English muffins. How did you spell the Thomases in that? 3 little pigs, I'll blow your house down or I'll blow it in. When did that change for you? Or is it still the same? Tidy cats or tidy cat? Did Tinkerbell fly around and write out the word Disney in the opening title of the Disney movies? Or did she dot the I at the beginning sometimes in the movies? Or did her wand not work sometimes and she had to bang it and it blew up and sent her spinning and she fell down? Or bumped herself ever and then rubbed her hand on the boo-boo where she fell? Do you remember seeing that ever at the beginning of the movies? Times Square or Times Square, Tinkerbell, one word or two. The Titanic, or was it the Olympic? The ship did not look like the Titanic, but looked like the Olympic. What did it look like? There was a fire that raged for days or weeks in there. Did you ever hear about a fire? A fire in Bunker 10 and 9 and made the Titanic sink? Was there photos of the fire or photos of the Titanic? Did you ever hear anything about any of that stuff? Poof. Titanic near ship, was it the California? Did they get message about the icebergs? Was the Titanic ever christened? Toilet tank kit, what do you call that? Is it called a toilet tank kit or a toilet flapper kit or a toilet float kit or a toilet flush kit? Do you remember what it's called? If you do, leave a comment. That's the latest thing bugging us. How to Kill a Mockingbird or To Kill a Mockingbird. Tomato sauce originated in Italy or Mexico. Tombstone Thunderbird photo of 1886 and 1963 is MIA. But I just saw it on the internet, so I don't think it's MIA, but you should look for that. Did Tom Cruise wear Ray-Ban sunglasses while dancing in Risky Business or black and green sunglasses? What color was his shirt? Was it white or was it pink? Tony the Tiger, Black Nose, or Blue Nose? They're great. Did they say they're great, Tony the Tiger, or they're great, or they're great? Anyway, and when did that change for you? And what do you remember? What is the Toledo War? Do you know? Tortellini, Tortellino, how do you spell it? Tostinos or Totinos? Toyota, Solero, or Solaro, or Solaris? Write down which one it is. When did Toy Story 3 come out? Toy Story 1. Does he say there's a snake in my boot or there's a snake in my boot? When was the first traffic light? Was it 1868, 1908, 1940, 1920, or 1956? Were there ever traffic lights with green on the top, then red, and then on the bottom? Or were they always red at the top and green on the bottom? And when did it change for you if it did? Transformers Dark Side of the Moon or Dark of the Moon? What's it called? Do trees bleed? Are there any trees that bleed or have like red coming out of them? That's the sap. How do you spell turmeric? Has it always been spelled that way? Do you remember it ever changing? When did it change for you? Tunguska event remains the most powerful of its kind recorded in history. It produced about 185 times or 1,000 times more energy than the Hiroshima atomic bomb. Have you ever heard of that? It leveled an area nearly the size of Tokyo, flattened some 500,000 acres. I should have taken that out. There are no official reports of human casualties. 3 deaths or hundreds of people died. Did you hear of that? How do you spell Tucson? S-C or C-S? Was the Twilight song played at their wedding? Was it 1,000 Years or Flightless Bird, American Mouth? And then at the end of it, they played 1,000 Years as you were exiting or waiting for extra scenes. Twin Towers or cities shall fall. Do not. Oh, do the Twin Towers, do they look the same? Are they lined up right? Are they closer together? Does the colors seem right to you? Do they look different? Were they further apart? How did the Twin Towers look to you? What does the font look like on the Twix bar? The T, does it look the same? Does it look different? It looks way different. Did U-Haul have a dash that separated you and Haul? Unabomber, was he under mind control when he did it? And did he get a lot of time or did he die? What happened to him? Did Uncle Sam's hat have stars on it or just stripes? Was there just stripes on his stars or did it have stars and stripes? And when did that change for you? Or did it just have stars and it was white on top? Uno rules. Stacking. Draw two on the draw two card to make someone draw. 4. If you don't have a card to play, do you draw one card and it's the next person's turn, or do you draw until you get the card you need, or are you supposed to draw 4 cards and then it's the next person's turn? Anyway, how do you play the game? What's in the rules? Write it down. Leave it in the comments. U.S. first terrorist attack was when? United States Postal Service logo. Do you know what it looks like? If you did, draw it, look it up, see if it's the same thing. United States. Is it 52 states or 50? Did your teacher say 48 states plus 2 making 50? That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's sarcasm. Or did the teacher say there's 50 states plus 2 states, Alaska and Hawaii? Are there 2 states missing? If there were, what would they be? I think it's Philadelphia and Chicago, but I thought there was 52 states, and I swear Philadelphia was a state until I was like 12 years old or something, and then all of a sudden there it was, a city in Pennsylvania. So I don't know. What do you remember? United States, how many presidents were shot and killed? The capital of Utah, is it Provo or Salt Lake City? Vandy Camps, pork and beans, or Van Camp. See, it was Vandy Camps. Always Vandy Camps. Always Vaseline. O or E, V8, well, I could have had a V8 dash or no dash. V for Vendetta, mask black and white, or pink cheeks and lips. Ventnor Avenue or Ventura on Monopoly board. Vicks or Vicks, Vapor Rub, how do you spell it? Vapor Rub or Vapor Rub. Victoria's Secret or Victoria's Secrets or Victoria's Secret. Vikings hat, did it have horns or no? How many village people were there? 4, 5, or 6. Vinaigrette, how do you spell it? Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night, what is on the left side of the painting? That man changed 2, 4, 6. How many legs? How many arms? I think I put that in there already. Is that what he was called, or was he called something else? Velasic, 2 S's or 1. Some say the Volkswagen logo changed with the separate or with a line in between the V and W. Some say the Volvo logo changed, the arrow not being there. What do you think? Who said you should walk 10,000 steps a day? And is that a thing? Walmart, did it have a dash in it? Does Walmart have an icon or a logo after the word Walmart? Have you seen that logo? Where did it come from? War of the Worlds radio broadcast. Did it cause mass panic or no panic or little panic? Warships, colors, gray, painted huge fat stripes, swirly colors. Water boy or the water boy. Water bridges. Were there water bridges where the water goes over the bridge and the cars go under? How's that even possible? Did that exist? Water faucets, hot on right, cold on left. Did that change? My husband just changed out the faucets and he switched them the opposite and said he didn't. That's the way it's supposed to go. I don't know. Is water wet? Ask your child if they argue with you. Because my granddaughter says water is not wet. We can do it. War poster. Was it of a lady baking, sweeping, or making a mussel? We can do it. War poster. Did it have a small animal in it or a child in it? Or just a lady? We can do it. War poster was of a lady smiling or making a stern face. Wendy's girl, did she wear an apron or not? Did she have braided hair or not? Wheelbarrow, wheelbarrow, or wheelbarrow. When did this change for you and how do you spell it? Me and my husband went rounds about that one too. Wherever or whatever. Where's Waldo hat? Does it have stripes or less stripe? Was it solid? Did he have a scarf on? Is the scarf gone? What did his hat look like? White out or right out? How did you spell that? And what was it? The group of who? has a strange logo now? Did they have a logo before? Whoopi Goldberg with an IE or just I? Whose line is it, or was it whose line is it anyway? How do you spell woe? I spell woe this way. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Charlie? The movie. Was it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka? See, I got that one right. And it had Gene Wilder in it. Winston Churchill, we will fight them on the beaches or we shall fight them on the beaches. Which one is it? Dorothy Oz, her shoes red with or without bows. Dorothy has to click or tap her heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home. What color was her socks, white or blue? Wizard of Oz, does the tree say, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Or stop picking my apples? Or does the tree say, how about them apples? Did the scarecrow have a gun? Or the lion? Or anybody have a gun in the Wizard of Oz? Did the witch say, fly my pretties fly? Or did she say fly, fly, fly? Or did she say, fly my pretties fly in one part and they say fly, fly, fly in another part? See, I remember her saying, fly my pretty fly. I don't remember it right now, but I remember remembering it, and I knew it, and now it's all crazy. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, or I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to that, or pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Tin Man, did he have a bow tie, a dent in the tip of his nose, a loopy handle thing on the top of his head, on the thing on his head? Where did the wow signal come from? Wizard of Oz, monkeys. Have you seen the monkeys? If they weren't scary enough before, look at them now and see if they look the same, because they don't look the same to me. How many wise men were there? Did it say in the Bible that there were 3 wise men, or did it just say there were wise men and we just assumed there were 3 and they put 3 in the pictures? Did a lot of women burn their bras in the 60s, or just a few? Woolworths, not the one now, but the one they had before in America, the 5 and dime. Was it called Woolworths or just Woolworth? My mother used to work there. I used to go there. I swear it was called Woolworths, but now it says it was Woolworth. What do you remember? World War II, Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Did they also launch over 9,000 fire balloons bombs at us as well? The eastern United States attacked by Germans and 5,000 American dies and 400 ships attacked by Germans on the east coast and the coast guarded to keep them from gaining land. Did you ever hear a thing like that? Wile E. Coyote. How do you spell it? Did it have an E in the middle? Or is it just Wiley? W-Y-L-E is Wiley. Winona. Writer, how does she spell Winona? Wondrous, is it Wondrous or just Wondrous? X-Files, is it Agent Mulder or Agent Mulder? Anyway, Xanthan Gum, how do you spell it? Yes Album, what's it called? And what do you remember? Leave comments, please. YMCA singing group, 4 or 5 or 6 people, and what were their characters, and how many do you remember? Did Yoko Ono die not long after John Lennon? When did she die? York Peppermint Patty slogan, taste the sensation or get the sensation. Yeah, look that up. You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind, but your friend doesn't dance, and if you don't dance, then you're no friend of mine. Or we can dance if we want to. We can leave your friends behind. Okay, you say potato, I say potato. You say tomato, I say tomato. Or you like tomato. You like tomato. Is it you like or you say? And is it tomato or tomato? Zaxby's commercial. Look at me. Of course I like Zaxby's. Or don't be rude. Of course I like Zaxby's. Do you remember one of those or both of those? How do you spell Ziploc bags? Zoe. What's her spelling on New Girl? How do you spell her first name? Zsa Zsa Gabor. When did she die? Panic at the Disco. I write sins, not tragedies. Haven't you people ever heard of closing the bad word GD door? Or is it just haven't you people ever heard of closing a door? Anyway, saw this rock. They found it. This is a picture of a stone they found in Roswell, New Mexico, and I like the symbol with the 2 moons and 2 suns in the little globe. Anyway, leave comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm sorry that I probably talked really fast, and I'll try to do it and break it up later in a lot less videos, but I thought it would be nice to try to get them all into one video. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed my channel. Bye-bye.